Alright, hey guys, I'm covering 4.2 today, which is Divergent and Convergent thinking. All of the important information for this is in the text, which is on the slideshow because I have no idea how to do captions. So here we go. First of all, what is divergent thinking? Divergent thinking is thinking without any limitations. You just want to come up with lots of possible solutions without worrying about any real world limitations. You want to come up with as many solutions as you can to your problem. But there are some divergent thinking principles. First of all, you need to defer judgment. You make the list now, and then you decide on the best possible options later. You just want to get as many ideas as you can. For this portion of it, you need to suspend disbelief. At this point in your decision-making process, there are no bad ideas. There is no idea too outlandish or too unrealistic. You're just writing them all down. Because once doubt enters the equation, your ideas stop flowing. You start second guessing every decision that you're putting down on that list. So at this point, you just need to don't even think about it, just write it down. The second principle is you're going for quantity. You want a lot of choices. You want to write as many possible choices as you can down because that increases the probability that one of those choices will be a good one and you can use that to solve your problem. The next principle that we're going to talk about is making connections. You can make connections between your ideas and other comments or ideas, even if they are not your own ideas. This actually works best in a group setting because there are other people there and you're just building off of each other's ideas. But at the same time, you can also use this when you're not sitting with another person. You can think, oh, I remember at one point in time this person said this, so I'm going to take part of their idea and turn it into something that would be useful for me. The next one is seeking novelty. You want to find new solutions to your problem. And again, at this point in the game, you are not limiting anything. It can be the most outlandish thing you can think of. Like if you want to clean your gutters, you can think, oh, I'm going to fly onto my roof. While that may not be realistic at this point in time, it doesn't really matter. You want to also find new interpretations of the problem itself. The example they gave in the little blurb I read was the teacher asked a student to list all the birds he could think of, and one student answered Larry Bird. It's not an animal bird or a bird in the traditional sense that we would normally think of a bird, but it is a bird that he could think of, so he wrote it down on his list. On the flip side, we have convergent thinking. Convergent thinking is using the limitations or constraints as filters for ideas. This is what you use to come up with the best solution to your problem. There are also some convergent thinking principles. You need to apply affirmative judgment. Affirmative judgment is positive and open-ended. That means you're not simply throwing out bad ideas because it's, not a good idea, but you're considering all the positives and negatives of each idea on that list. So there's even more lists involved with your list. The second one is novelty. You're also striving for new ideas, even when you are constrained by real world limitations. So, yeah, and then you're remembering that unusual ideas can have unexpected outcomes. Like you may think of a completely weird idea, a completely new idea for your solution, but even though it may not work in the way you want it to, it can still have some unexpected outcomes. The next one is you need to check your objective. You need to understand what success looks like and have a realistic expectation of the scope of the proposed solutions. So some of the solutions may not meet your objectives as well as others, so you need to look at that. Like some solutions may better meet your objective than other solutions. So during convergent thinking, that is when you're going to think about the best way to meet your objective. And you want to stay focused. You want to focus on your goal while investigating all of the possible solutions. You want to balance your intuition, your gut feeling, with a critical analysis of the limitations of the real world. So like while your gut may tell you that flying up to your roof to clean out your gutters is the best idea, you have the very real world limitation that you physically cannot fly up to your roof because people can't fly. So that convergent thinking would be the time when you would take out all of the unrealistic ideas. When do you use divergent and convergent thinking? You use them when you utilize both of them when you're addressing real world problems. You actually do this probably every single day of your normal lives because you're thinking you have a problem and you're thinking of all the possible solutions and then you're whittling them down to come up with the best solution to your problem. Divergent thinking usually comes first that's when you just generate the list of all of your ideas, and then the convergent thinking is used to limit the list of possible solutions that you come up with to the best ones or the best one to solve your problem. And then here's questions. Well, two of them are actually statements, but that's okay. You won't judge me. So the first one is can you name two convergent thinking principles? We talked about four of them. Can you remember two of them? And the next one is name two divergent thinking principles. Again, we talked about four of them. Can you name two of them? And the next one is just what is divergent thinking? That's just the definition of what divergent thinking is, what you do when you're doing that. And then the next one is, well, how is convergent thinking different from divergent thinking? So I gave a few examples, so hopefully you can remember them. That's the end of the information I have for divergent and convergent thinking. So thank you for listening and paying attention. Okay, bye.